We may not have a new ban list, but we did get some new cards that I'm personally very excited about. Stand up! Vanguard! Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update. It's Tuesday, so that means we have another live stream that came and went by with a lot of new information and some reveals for the upcoming sets for Cardfight Vanguard. One of the major things that we were waiting for was the new ban list. However, it has been postponed to later this week. We're gonna get it on Friday. So we're gonna do an extra Cardfight update concerning the new ban list or restriction list once that hits the format. And Dr. O has said in a live stream there won't be something like a no update about the restriction list. So we can already assume that there is gonna be something new on the list. This could be that something will get off the list, or that they're gonna introduce some new restrictions to the list. And if it's either for standard or for premium, we have yet to see what's gonna be. So let's wait till Friday and see what's gonna happen for the upcoming meta concerning the Autumn Fest, or basically the World Championship Series. But enough about that, we also got some new card reveals for the upcoming Raging Tactic Extra Booster Set for Spike Brothers, Tachikaze, and Megacolony. And most notably, it's Megacolony's time to reveal some cards, as we've got 3 new cards for Megacolony, as well as including their new VR. So without further ado, let's jump right into these cards, as they're looking very interesting, as this is a new mechanic that's going to be introduced to Vanguard in general, as we haven't seen this before, but it's also going to be introduced to Megacolony, and I'm personally very excited for this, as I wanted this type of mechanics in Vanguard for the longest of times, and it might be here, and I like the way that they're addressing it. So let's start off with the first card of these new Megacolony cards, and we start off with Discreet 2, that is Hiding Killer Leaf, and its skill is auto Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, cost Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets power plus 10k. Until the end of the battle, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 1 or greater, you draw a card. So we get some kind of mill mechanic in Vanguard. We haven't really seen this in the past. Yes, Grand Blue mills itself, but we haven't really seen something that's actively milling your opponent's deck and maybe get a win condition through that. However, how it looks now with the upcoming cards for Megacolony, it doesn't really look like that their strategy is to mill out their opponent's deck in the main focus, but they do get benefit from it by milling cards and hitting certain grades, so they get beneficial effects out of that. So in this case, when you hit a grade 1 or higher, you're gonna draw an extra card. So that's overall pretty neat for Counter Blast, Soul Blast, potentially draw a card, but also gain 10k on this unit is, in my personal opinion, a pretty okay skill. Also, don't forget that milling someone is still very deadly, as you can hit a very vital key card to their engine, and when you do that, that can be devastating even more than just a plus 10k. So the fact that that's also built in the skill itself, that potential, is very interesting. So overall, a pretty solid card, but it's basically a setup card or a archetype support card, as we're gonna look at the new grade 3s that comes with this new mechanic. And the first one I want to talk about is Unrivaled Blade Rogue Klimatooth, and its skills are auto Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, cost Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets power plus 10k until the end of turn. Then put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 1 or greater, this unit gets critical plus 1 until the end of turn. So it's basically the exact same skill as the grade 2, but instead that you're gonna draw a card, this unit gets a critical when you mill a grade 1 or greater card. But then you get an additional skill, and it's auto. When rode upon, your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand, discard it, and one of your Vanguards gets power plus 5k until the end of turn for each of that that card's great. So it now gets a revived break ride skill, as when you ride up top of it with another grade 3, your opponent now also loses an extra card from hand, and for what type of grade they lose, it will be a lot of extra power. If they ditch a grade 0, that's fine, because yes, you're not getting extra power, but they maybe lose 15 to 20k shield if they didn't drop a normal draw trigger, as that's only 5k shield. But in that case, it's still an added bonus in power difference. But if they drop something like a grade 2, that's plus 10k on your body, but also minus 5k shield value in their hand. If they drop a grade 3, that's plus 15k, even though they lose no shield value. So this is a pretty solid skill, and also it's a nice skill that helps with maybe in premium as you want to keep rewriting for protect markers, and it has some additional effects out of it that's not during the main phase or something that's on attack. So a very nice skill in that regard as well. But then we're going to take a look at the VR to see what that does, as well as this mechanic, and then we can see how everything is going to click together and how this new deck might function, as it is looking to be very deadly when things go in the right way. As their new VR is True Demonic Rifle Rogue Gunning Colio, and its skills is Auto on Vanguard Circle. When placed, this unit gets power plus 5k and drive plus 1. So that's triple drive on places on right. Then put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 3 or greater, this unit gets power plus 10k and drive plus 1 until the end of turn. So if you're lucky and you hit a grade 3 as well, this unit gets not plus 5k and an extra drive, it gets plus 15k and plus 2 drive checks. That's already pretty good, as that's a 27k for drive check, so quad drive, for no cost. Remind you, this is no cost, it's on right. That's actually pretty good, as in a protect deck, you usually want to tend to keep rewriting, and with the extra drive checks, as you're already solid on the 3 drive checks, the 4th drive check is maybe not as consistent as you want to be, as it depends on how many grade 3s a certain deck is running and how many are still left in deck. It might ask the question if this is a very consistent skill or not. But the fact that you already have triple drive helps significantly with rewriting. And also we know that Megacolony has very good solid searchers for the grade 3. So this can be very good, as it can keep fueling its on-play skill, and that's pretty damn good. But then we get a second ability, and that is where this card shines really awesomely, as its second ability is Act on Vanguard Circle, once per turn, cost Soul Bless 1 grade 3, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and your opponent cannot call the same grade as that card from his or her hand until the end of turn. So on top of everything, you basically get a free guard restrict that nobody actually knows what that guard restrict is until you resolve the skill. And that is pretty cool, as it has always a good upside. Sure, the only downside is when you hit a grade 3 with this skill, as you want to hit it with the first skill. But yet you still have the added bonus of that you're milling cards from the deck, and milling grade 3s against certain decks is also very nasty, as they actually maybe want to write that grade 3 to get more markers, and this card then just shut it down, and especially the other support cards that also mill stuff. But if you hit something like a grade 0, you might just win the game on the spot if you're not against a protect deck. The reason why that's the case is that if you hit a grade 0 with this thing will hit for 17k triple drive, but we're gonna boost it with Phantom Black, and that's a 14k booster on the 17, so that's 31, and that's a 31k attack with triple drive. And if you resolve Phantom Black's skill to get an additional 6k, they can no longer guard with normal units. But because you just resolved its second ability and you already limited them to using grade 0s, that means they can guard unless they have a protect marker in hand. And the only clans that can get a protect marker to hand are protect decks, or in the rare case, you are a Highlander build and you've just ridden up to Nishka. Otherwise, you basically cannot guard this attack, and with that amount of power, well, the power doesn't really matter, but with triple drive, and potentially quad drive, do I mind you, you're gonna get probably a crit here and there, and if they're sitting at 5 damage, they just can't do anything about it. So there is an ODK possibility with this card that's pretty awesome. But mind you, it's a very low chance that this will happen, but it's fun to even think about the possibility that it has. But if we just look at the card in general, it is a great tool as it has consistent triple drive, maybe a quad drive, and you can rewrite it very consistently in Megacolony, so that's no problem. And also the milling of this card is pretty free as it's on write, and the other skills is sold as grade 3, so when you write it for the second time you're gonna mill for 2 cards. Then you have the other grade 3 that's Klimatooth and the grade 2 Hidden Killer Leaf that also mill cards. But we already saw 2 other cards, 2 grade 1s for the deck that was revealed a couple of days ago. That is Brawny Jerk, that's another mill card, but that card is on boost when you're attacking a grade 3. You can ditch a card and your opponent needs to ditch a card. So in combination with the guard restrict of this new VR and that discard, you can put your opponent in a very nasty position as you have cards that restrict them in standing units. You have cards that force them to discard. You have now cards that have some really awkward guard restricts, and at the same time you're milling their deck. That can be very annoying. The only thing you're missing is maybe some power. But they got another grade 1 already revealed, and that is Flowery Tyria, and her skill is that every time that you mill something from the top of their deck, it gets 5k power. So that stacks. So you can make some very powerful high power columns with all these millings that's going on in this clan. So in my personal opinion, this is looking very interesting. I'm not sure how powerful it is right now, as we're still missing some vital cards. And they, I believe, get another double rare left. And that is going to be a grade 3, as the other double rare is a grade 3 and the other one is a grade 1. So if they get a third double rare, then we'll probably get another grade 3. And it might sound awkward with all the grade 3s that we already have. But as I stated before, with the good support that we have that can fetch for multiple grade 3s very quickly, it doesn't really matter that much that we run multiple different grade 3s in our build, as we can search and filter for them very efficiently. So overall, I'm very excited for these Megacolony cards, as Megacolony is looking to be a very interesting clan right now in Standard. They got everything that's very annoying for your opponent. You can lock their field with that they cannot rest. We have got cards that basically minus their field, so they're weaker. We've got cards that now discard things from their hands. We got annoying guard restrict cards, and now with the new milling as well, we can shut down certain decks even before the game starts, as when we hit a vital card that they cannot retrieve from the drop zone, we might already have won without actually attacking in the mid to late game. So there are some fun interactions with this clan and with these cards. I'm very excited what this is gonna be and what we're gonna get for the other cards in the set, as there's still a lot of things to be revealed, as we're just in the starting position for the reveals for the Raging Tactics. So yeah, I'm very excited for what's going to be, and I want to know what you guys think of these reveals from Megacolony. So let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions for this new milling mechanic. Are you excited for that? Because we didn't really have it in Standard, and I know from other games that there is a clear divide with milling mechanics and milling tactics. There are people that enjoy them, and there are people that really hate those things. As it stands now, as I explained in the beginning of the video, it doesn't look like that milling out your opponent is the win condition of this deck. Maybe against Grand Blue, that could be a thing, but it doesn't look like that's the case. But at least their mechanic revolves around milling with your opponent. So I'm very curious of what you guys think of this mechanic. Are you scared about the potential of it? Or are you welcoming with open arms to see more support and hope that they're going to get more support in the future that works with this mechanic? So let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions. As well as what you think about the fact that the ban list is delayed or postponed to Friday. And maybe you have a reason for that. Maybe you are suspecting for something. Or maybe something else. And if you're just curious about my opinions and predictions for the ban list, then check out this video on top, where I discussed about my personal take on what this ban list means for the game, as well as what it could be, as there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. So if you're curious and interested in that topic, then check out that video on top. But with that, we basically conclude everything that was revealed in today's reveal stream. So as always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters over for Patreon for making this video and everything that's happening on the channel possible. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel and everything that's happening on the channel, then head to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.